Hey everybody, this is Mickey G. Can you drink your coffee black? Well, Rodney and I talk about that and other things in this edition of Old Fools Talking Old School.
What's going on?
How you been?
Hey, man. Existing. How about yourself?
I've been doing good and just trying to stay cool.
I heard that. Well, I got my electric bill the other day. I just said, hell, pay it. I ain't gonna even, because usually if it's out of ordinary, I'll call, hey, what's going on? I'm like, I know what's going on because it's been running. That's why. Especially before I replaced it, I had to replace one of them.
Right.
And, I had to run it all day and night just to keep it somewhat livable up here. So,
yeah, that's the way it is here. Well, plus, with my wife and my daughter, they're always living in their own little heat zone. So they got it cranked down. I mean, I'm okay. I'm freezing.
Yeah,
I'm like, I understand. So as they say,
yeah,
keep the peace.
Yeah, buddy.
I just leave it up. I do cut it up in the day when I'm here by myself. I'll go ahead and cut up a few degrees when I'm here by myself. But other than that, yeah, that's the way I am too. It's that time of year. Usually July and August is my two biggest electric bills because that's when, like you say, they're running. Seem like constant. But actually, it cooled off today. They had that little
here.
front come through, and it cooled off today, so it ain't running much at all today. But it's supposed to, get back up in the 90s by midweek, so it'll get a little break.
Oh yeah, and it doesn't really matter, even if we wasn't running it. They do that averaging anyway. Well, it's 100 degrees, so they're all using it. I know back in them days when I was so conscious of it, like, well, damn, I ain't changed nothing, but my bill done went up $100. Now I just say, to hell with it. I just go on, and pay it. Because, they send us on that bill. It's got all the averaging of the months. It's getting ready to go down. Well, I don't know. This weather pattern is so screwed up now. We'll see. So we're supposed to get a lot more rain next week. So,
yeah. And matter of fact, the last couple of days, it's been those overcast days that it's like, man, it's going to rain. It's going to rain. And it ain't rained yet, either day.
Exactly.
It hadn't rained. But now, when it was up in the, mid 90s and above, almost every day we were getting that afternoon drenching,
Yeah.
It'd cloud up, it'd come down in buckets. But for the last 2 or 3 days, and like I say, after it cooled off today, it hadn't been doing that. I'm like, now, of all the days you think it would rain, you look up in the sky, and it ain't nothing but dark clouds up there.
Yeah.
It ain't done nothing. So I guess it hadn't been as humid either. I know that humidity has a lot to do with getting them showers in the afternoon.
Yeah. Well, for about 2 weeks there, that's all we had right there was sunny days and rainy nights. I mean, I ain't heard thunder and lightning do so much since I was a little kid, man. I mean, I was about to come out up here, man. I was like, oh, hell, let me get out of here. But after that, boy, it's so green and pretty up here now. We'll see how long that lasts, because we usually in the brown coloration of our grass and stuff up here. Everything is green and pretty. I'm like, damn, remind me of East Texas there. But
yeah, but that's the way it is here too. Like I said, we've gotten so much rain. Everything is greened up. Matter of fact, they were saying the other day we had, I think at that point, 20-something days worth of 90-degree weather. And the record was, I think, 30-something in 2017? But I remember, I said, "Yeah, I remember that." Cause like I said, I walk outside, walk out in the yard, and that's for, of course, we had the sprinkler system. I'd walk out there, and the grass felt like I was walking on potato chip. It was crunching so much. I said
Yeah,
it's pretty bad because it didn't rain for I don't know how many days, and I'd get out there and put them sprinklers out in the front yard. I didn't even bother in the backyard. I just put them out in the front yard, and it was like, this ain't gonna be enough,
right.
unless you gonna run them all day long,
Yeah, yeah,
I'm like, finally, I just said, "Forget it. It's gonna rain. At some point, it's gonna rain again."
yeah, yeah. It's a never-ending battle, man. It's so just like the weather pattern is changing. I need to change my pattern of my expectation of my yard because, like I say, it's still pretty and green now. But you see where it's trying to change because
Yeah.
the heat and that sun been beating down on it.
Mhm.
Actually, I turned on the last couple of days. I turned my sprinklers on. It was overcast, but it never rained.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I turned it on for a couple. Well, let me say, I turned it on the one day and forgotten, and it automatically came on. I was walking by the window. What the hell are the sprinklers doing on? So it's like, hey man, I get up here and get in this air conditioner. I'm cool, so I might not pay any attention when I walk by a window.
Yeah. Yeah. I usually run mine in the morning,
Yeah,
and there's been a couple of days that it does that. And I don't know how much good it's doing, but it'll run like a 2-minute cycle. You can do that manually in the afternoon.
yeah.
I just said, well, I'm just going to do that just to sort of give it a little bit of break in the afternoon, because I mean,
Hmm.
by the afternoon, I don't know how much of that morning moisture is still there,
Right.
with that's like you say, with that sun beating down on it. So I'll run it
Oh,
sometime just for that short period of time, just to give it a little bit of a break.
oh yeah. Get a little short burst. Well, I started doing that the other day simply because some of that greenness is turning into brownness.
Uh huh.
And I was like, well, I might be a little thirsty because we've been threatening rain, but we ain't had one in about a week. So, plus they came out and put down some fertilizer, so I ran it then. But I'm not like I used to be. I used to have it running on a cycle daily. I had it run for a period of time in the morning and then run it in the afternoon. But like I was checking into it before, and it was like well, just like anything on the internet, hell, you can find whatever you're looking for. But there's like
Yeah.
uh, they recommended running it either early morning or late afternoon, so the sun don't evaporate at all.
Right. Right.
So that's what I have been doing. And but hell, today I'll just hear. I mean, the other day when I turned it on, I was just here. I just went out there and turned it on manually. Hey, come on! And then when I walked by the window, it was broad daylight. It was on again. Cause it's done been through a time change and I ain't adjusted the clock, so it was on. It was on broad daylight. I was like, damn. you know. So I just went out there. I cut it back on this afternoon, but I'm gonna go out there and turn it on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I know the drain on my air conditioning units on that side on the side of the house, like I said, it runs so much between the unit downstairs and that heat pump upstairs that area always is wet, because
Mhm.
always that evaporation is always coming out of it. Matter of fact, the other day I said, man, I'll just maybe look at either putting some sand or some gravel down around there and letting it sort of soak in the ground a little bit more, because this just be soaking wet during the
Mhm.
summer, just because, like you say, it's on so much, it's always got that, evaporation coming out,
Yep. Exactly.
so, but, like I say, that's just what you go through every
Yeah.
year, and not knowing what each year is gonna bring.
It'll be something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. But like you say, you go out and try to find some information on stuff that you're looking to do, and that to me that's the most frustrating part of it is you
Yeah.
go out there and you find so many different um, opinions on supposedly these experts on when you
Mhm.
should do this, when you should do that, and I um I was listening to the radio the other morning. the station out of Nashville, they always have Dr. Sanjay Gupta with his health healthy living kind of stuff, his little infomercials on there, and I remember, uh for years back, he would come on and say about your sleep pattern. He said, you shouldn't change your sleep pattern, from the weekend to the weekday. If you get up at 8, during the week, you should get up at 8 on the weekend, don't sleep in. And then I heard him Friday, he did a little thing, said, well, research has shown that if you extend your sleep hours on the weekend by an hour, it gives your body a chance and it can, it decreases the chances of cancer by 18%. I'm like, wait a minute.
Yep.
Now you just was advocating, a few years ago about you should not change your sleep pattern on the
Yep.
weekend and sleep in. You should get up at the same time. So I'm like, it's just like, what do you do? If you try to listen to what the word is or the right things to do this week, it's going to be different next week.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah. That's why I don't, I look at stuff like that just to try to gain some kind of knowledge about it. But it's all contradictory. Go to the next article. It'll be something totally different. And I was like, man, please. They were, I read an article a long time ago, which this was helpful back then because, well, it was helpful for my kids, I guess, because, boy, my folks, boy, I don't give a damn if you didn't have nothing to do. You had to be out of that bed no later than 8 o'clock.
Right.
And get up. And hell, all we used to do is get up and go back and lay down on the couch in the den. I'm like, I'm sitting there like, what the hell am I up for? But then I read an article on there saying that in your young formative years, you need that rest, and cause see, what was I doing? I was doing what was done to me. Y'all get up, get out of that bed. That ain't gonna no more determine whether or not you're gonna be a lazy behind or not, And I finally just said, the hell with that. I'm not waking them up, and because half the time they're probably down there up in their room late at night anyway.
Yeah.
And so I stopped doing it. And but I would let them sleep no later than 12. Okay, get up now. Hell, you didn't sleep half the day. Get up. But I stopped rushing them to get up. And hell, now they both are great at getting up and going to work,
Yeah. Yeah.
So forcing them to get up, all that did was piss them off. That's probably why half these kids don't want to work.
Yeah. Well, that's just sort of like what they said about, sort of forcing kids to eat when they're young.
Yeah.
And we did that, with Tara, because she was always a picky eater. She'd be sitting there at the table for an hour, more. You gonna eat? You ain't gonna get up till you eat. You ain't gonna get up till you eat. And then once again, these studies started coming out saying a lot of times that led to obesity and stuff because these kids got in their mind at a young age, they got to eat everything on their plate.
Everything on the plate. Yep.
Yeah. So they started, they would start doing that as they got older, and a lot of them weren't exercising. So that was leading to obesity. So they was well, you shouldn't do that. You really should just let them, if they don't eat everything, just say, okay, that they're full, just leave it at that,
Yep.
Oh yeah, it's just, how things change over the year. I think some of that with that old school bringing up that we had where, if you didn't clean your plate, something was wrong.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. And that's, we was doing that for a while. I was like, hey, leave them alone. They'll eat. They know what. We just put a moratorium on the junk.
Right.
If you're not going to eat your food, then you're not hungry for the junk then.
Yeah.
And, but hell, that didn't work. We laugh about it now. Seems like every time we get together, there's a picture in my study down there on my desk was Philip in a photo by himself. Oh, he's a chunky monkey. Every time we go in there, I hate that picture. I'm going to leave it up. I said, what was you doing, Philip? We call ourselves monitoring y'all and what you's eating and all that. And all that. He said, yeah, but Mom still would go to the commissary and buy all them little Debbies and all this. And they were latchkey kids. We come home in our old house. He said, Dad, I used to go down in the hallway, take off running, run down there and jump up on the counter and get me about 4 or 5 of them little Debbie cakes. I said, boy, when you ain't around, you don't never know what your kids are doing, boy.
No, No, and like you say, you tried to do what you think is the right thing, for them
Yeah,
and stuff, yeah, you say, when you ain't there, yeah, you don't know what they doing.
that's right. See, I used to think a running start, Dad, run down there and jump up on that counter and get them little Debbie cakes. I was like, damn, boy. And hell, she would buy them every kind of cereal there was because, it was all that, them lies talking about it was good for you, all that honey crunch and all this other, it wasn't nothing but, it was equivalent to a little Debbie cake is what it was.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
it never dawned on me. She said, "Boy, where you been?" I said, "What are you talking about?" I went to the commissary with her one time, man. Cause I never went to the commissary with her, and I never went in there that much. We were walking down the aisle. She was grabbing whatever she was grabbing, putting it in there. We got down to the cereal, and all I can remember is in the pantry. The damn near whole top row is full of cereal, and she's buying more cereal. And then I'm looking at the prices, $9. I started calculating. I said, "We got about $300 worth of stuff up there in the cabinet up there." She's like, "Yeah, this cereal is expensive." I was like, "I see." I said, "Well, look like they're gonna have to get a part-time job just to buy cereal."
Yeah, yeah, I know what you mean. I, they've been running for years, that commercial about those, uh, Honey Oat Cheerios, how they're heart healthy and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, "Okay," I said, "one morning for breakfast, I'm just gonna have me some Honey Oat Cheerios for breakfast." And man, I went in there after I had that bowl of Honey Oat Cheerios and checked my blood sugar with my thing. God, I'm like, "It might be heart healthy, but it'll definitely give you the sugars." I said, my A1C level, I took that, not A1C, but my, sugar level was up so high. I'm
Yeah.
like, "No," I said, "it might be good for your heart, but it ain't good if you diabetic." So I had to cut the honey oat Cheerios out. So, yeah, I mean,
Telling you, man.
you think it's, they say it might be good for one thing, but that don't mean it's good for everything, so
Yeah, I'm telling you. I cut out cereal altogether after I got diagnosed. And the reason being because I like cereal, but I was a cornflake guy. I didn't like the pre-sugared stuff too much. And and just by being around old folks growing up, I ate that Raisin Bran. That was good enough
yeah.
for me. And but since I don't like milk, by the time I put half of that sugar bag in the milk, I'm like, this is the I mean, it would be a mound of sugar in the bottom after I get through. I said, "This ain't helping. This is counterproductive." So I stopped eating it altogether because I I I I I watch people drink milk and it looks like they just I guess it's like them watching me drink some Hennessy or something. It's so satisfying. And I look at myself, boy, that looks so good, but boy, I'll throw up in a heartbeat with some milk in my mouth, man.
Really?
Can't stand it,
Oh, man, I love milk. I don't know where I'd be without milk, and,
man.
and forever, once again, the deception of naming products, we was drinking whole milk back in the day.
Yep,
Matter of fact, I remember growing up, my mama called it sweet milk, you
yep,
know,
yep. I
and,
remember that.
so we was drinking whole milk. Of course, they started coming out with 2%. So I'm like,
Yep.
"Yeah, once again, let's try to be healthy." So we started drinking that 2% milk. I thought it meant it only had 2% of fat in it. Then I was listening to something on the TV or somewhere one day. They said, "Well, don't be misled by the name. All it means is it's 2% less than whole milk. Not that it's only got 2% of fat in it." I said, "Now
Right.
see, you look at that, like, oh man, this is only 2% fat and all. It's only 2% less than whole milk."
Yep.
So, but yeah, man, shoot, I give me a glass of milk and some Oreo cookies or
Oh, man.
something like that. Oh
Yeah.
man, I'm in heaven.
I've watched people like you my kids, Roz, they're like, cause see, I'm a sucker for a fresh batch of brownies when they're still warm.
Yeah.
Like they look at me like, "Dad, how can you do that?" I'm like, I get me couple of them brownies and get me some orange juice. I ain't drinking no damn milk with that. Yeah, but
You
they get
drink
that
you could
milk.
you could eat brownies and drink orange juice?
I love it.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, indeed. I get me some orange juice with that, and hey, the only other thing that I'll drink with it, and it is really uh, kind of counter to what I'm saying, I'll drink some chocolate milk.
Uh-huh.
I'll drink some chocolate milk, but if I drink it and I start thinking about white milk, I got to put it down.
Mm, mm, mm.
If it ain't chocolatey enough, I gotta get me some of that chocolate syrup and put in there. Something's got to go. That milk, ooh, God, man, it hits a gag reflex for me.
Really? Oh,
Oh man.
oh man, I gotta have me some milk. I like I say, I get it. And if I eat anything sweet like on the weekend, that's when, I'll do breakfast some mornings on the weekend and I'll do things like, pancakes or waffles, things like that. Now I gotta have some milk with that. I can drink orange juice with like eggs and sausage and
Mm-hmm.
bacon, but I can't drink orange juice with sweet kind of stuff like pancakes with syrup or waffles or whatever, French toast.
Man,
No, I can't do that.
Philip and Rosalind. Philip had a doctor's appointment, and Rosalind went over there with him for his doctor's appointment. So they called back and said everything is fine. Da 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 da. So we're getting ready to go to IHOP for breakfast, and I was here at home. I said, well, hell, I'll meet you over there. So, of course, they were halfway done by the time I got there. But anyway, I got there and I had my stack with my warm maple syrup and my ham and cheese omelet, and my big glass of orange juice.
My goodness. No, I couldn't do that. I
Yes,
couldn't do
sir.
that.
Uh,
Yeah. Now see, I would think you would be because you're a coffee drinker.
Oh yeah.
I would think you would probably be drinking coffee with that versus orange juice.
Well, I had coffee too now.
You
Don't
had
don't.
coffee too? Okay,
Oh
okay.
yeah. Oh yeah. I had coffee now. I'm a coffee drinker, but I can't stand no milk in my coffee either. No creamer. I don't want none of that. Give me one. Uh, what is that thing in the Splenda? Give me
Uh-huh.
one Splenda, and the rest is black. I drank that.
Really?
Yeah. I can't. I don't want no milk in there. Rosin got all this sweet butterscotch and she put in hers. I'm like, that ain't coffee.
Well, I'm the same way too. I was talking to Kathy one day about coffee because my sister-in-law, Steve's uh, sister Nancy. Now she drinks hers black,
Mm-hmm.
and we were talking about. She said, "Yeah." She said, "Like, no, I just can't drink it black." I said, "But I like my coffee." And I said, "Well, what all you put in it?" Same thing, sugar, creamer. I said, so you're really like me. You're drinking the condiments. You're not drinking really the coffee because that's what I do. Now
Yeah.
I use Splenda too. I put Splenda in there, and then I've got well, depending on if it's on sale, I tell men, I said that Walmart brand is the same thing as Coffee Mate. So don't be paying all that money for Coffee Mate if
Mm-hmm.
unless it's on sale. But yeah, I gotta have some creamer in there. And usually it's the French vanilla Coffee Mate or the generic Walmart brand. And so yeah, by the time I get through,
man,
I'm not tasting the coffee. I'm not.
man. Yeah, you drinking warm milk.
Yes, yes, that's about what it is.
Yeah. I can, Rosin, I'm going to the kitchen. You want another cup of coffee? Yeah. She's right back. It don't take nothing. Put one Splenda in there and pour some coffee. I go in the kitchen and say, you want some more coffee? Yeah. It's like fixing a sandwich, man. Because she wants it a certain shade of, oh no, that's too dark. Need some more. Man, y'all, this ain't no coffee. So
Yeah.
yeah, man, I drank me some coffee, but yeah, my go-to is orange juice, boy. I drink my orange
Mm.
juice with cake,
Oh,
with all of it.
man. No, I usually have a glass of orange juice, usually 1 glass a week, and that's like I say on Saturday mornings when I get up and cook breakfast for because usually little D's over here sometime or I get up and cook breakfast for all of us, and I'll have a glass of orange juice with like I said, if I do eggs and sausage or bacon stuff like that. But all the rest of the week, like I say, I'm drinking my modified coffee all the rest of the week, so I don't drink no orange juice then. So I sort of psych myself out saying, well, you need a little vitamin C, even though I take vitamin C, and vitamin supplement. I said, you need some vitamin C. So I'll drink that one glass of orange juice on Saturday morning, but the rest of the week it's either, milk on Sundays, and then rest of the weekday I drink coffee pretty much every day. And it's funny because Mary's one of those kinds. She said, when I was a kid, I thought coffee smelled so good when it was
Mhm.
brewing back in the old days of the
Yeah,
percolators.
yeah.
She said my grandmother used to cook it. I mean, make it, and I'd smell it. It smelled so good. And she said one morning she, back in them days they used to tell you kids you couldn't
Well,
drink
yeah,
coffee
you
or
couldn't
make you
drink
black.
coffee. Right.
Coffee make you black.
Yeah.
And she said finally she said, "Come on in here, girl." And she said she gave me some of that coffee, and she said that was the worst tasting stuff I ever put in my mouth for it to smell so good. And Marion, I don't know if Marion has drank a cup of coffee since, and she said was what 3 or 4 years old then.
Yeah.
She can't, I mean, she can't even, "Okay, I'm gonna drink a cup today." No, she can't drink it at all.
Mhm.
Yeah, she
Mhm.
can't drink it at all. And like I say, back in the day, I used to not drink coffee either. My mom grew up drinking coffee and all. I used to drink coffee. Then I started. That was my one I call my cheat day. My
Mhm.
cheat day was drinking a cup of coffee and fixing me a full breakfast during the week. I said that's my cheat day. And then next thing I know, I'm drinking coffee every day of the week except for the
Hey, man.
weekends.
Yep, that's it. Well, I started out young myself because you always wanted to do what the grown folk do. "Can
Yeah,
I have
yeah.
some coffee? Can I have it?" After a while, they relented, and then, but hell, it was drinking it like you drink it, you and Rosin. They would put all that damn creamer in there and all that sugar in there by
Mhm.
the time I drank it. Yeah, but then I didn't know. I was just a kid. All I know is I'm drinking coffee. And then the older I got, the more I was like, "Man, I don't want all that in there." It's starting to look like milk now. Then that's turning my stomach. I'm like, oh no, So, well, really, the military is when I really started drinking it black.
Mhm.
And for a while there, I was drinking it black with no sugar. But Splenda came along. When them substitutes came along, I tried it with Splenda. I'm like, yeah, that's all right there. So I keep in, give me one Splenda. This woman at McDonald's kind of laughed at me one time when I went in there. I said, "Yeah, I want a large coffee and one Splenda." So she was like, "Only one?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "Well, you're so specific. I just wanted to check. One Splenda."
Oh, man. No, as a matter of fact, once again, listening to the Dr. Gupta, they were talking about, with some of the, sugar substitute that they were saying that
Bad for you.
well, not so much that, they were saying that it it was causing people they thought some of the research they did to eat more because
Mm,
supposedly they say that the sugar substitute doesn't have
aspartame.
doesn't have the energy that regular sugar has. So when that sugar substitute goes to your brain, because he said the brain uses more sugar and more energy than any organ in your body. So it goes to your brain. The brain says, "Okay, I got sweet now, and I got my energy with the sugar, real sugar." With the sugar substitute, it says, "I got my sweet, but I don't have my energy." So I need to get that from somewhere else, which means I'm hungry, basically.
Mhm.
So I told myself, I said, well, maybe 'cause I use Splenda, I said, maybe I ought to try just drinking my coffee black. I still ain't got the courage to try that yet. I was like, I just can't see me drinking coffee black. I'm gonna try it one time, and I may try
Hey,
it with just
man.
one Splenda and see how that tastes, but I just ain't got the courage to try it yet. No, I just ain't brought myself around to drinking that black coffee yet. I'm gonna try. I know it's probably better for you than all the cream and sugar that I use, or Splenda. Well, we hope you enjoyed this edition. We'll see you next time for Old Fools Talking Old School. Until then, this is Mickey G. Peace.